What's up, nerds? We're your hosts. I am Chad.
And I am Jake. This is our weekly podcast where we explore the world of nerd from TV, movies, games, comics, news, and books.
We will give you our opinions, theories, and oftentimes spoilers.
We will also have friends and experts as guests on the show to elaborate further on those topics.
But be prepared. We like to have a few drinks, so buckle up.
If you want to support our show, like, share, and subscribe wherever you enjoy your podcasts.
You can also become a premium subscriber over at buymeacoffee.com/allthingsnerd.
So let's get into it. This is the All Things Nerd podcast.
Nerd.
Welcome, nerds, to the All Things Nerd podcast, your weekly dive into all things nerd. Chad, I hope you had a good week. And with that, let's jump right into our first topic. But first, cheers.
Cheers. Oh, gotta love tequila. So this week, we have to talk about Fallout.
Yeah, it's written down right here that's what we're talking about.
Indeed. But because they dropped all of the episodes at once, we're just going to talk about the first two. It's not because that's all that we've watched so far. Definitely not that. First off, spoiler alert for the first two episodes of Fallout. And also during that time, just a disclaimer. Jake, you haven't played any of the Fallout games.
None. I am unbiased about this show, so...
I have played very little of the Fallout games, and it was because my roommate in college did.
Your parents?
No, those were my high school roommates, and my post-college roommates. We got along well enough to where I moved back in with them.
Yeah, but it's a fucking sick race car bed. Sorry.
See you later, turd nuggets. If you know, you know. That's enough time for your spoiler alert.
Whoa, okay, so. J-Lo. Sorry.
What?
I said, okay, J-Lo.
I didn't come up on an ambiguous block and went to a private school.
No, it was just
super rich
if you know, you know
thing. And lied about having long hair as a child. I'm defending myself. She's the worst.
Yeah.
First off, this show is...
What are you doing? Sorry. I have this little...
Is gonna be one...
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Nicole's going to grab her when she gets home. But there's a I have a little, sock puppet thing of Krampus.
On your book.
And she was, going for it. And I'm like, you sneaky little bitch. I'm so sorry. You can clap that out.
No, absolutely not, because this is definitely going to be off the hinge episode based on our preparation for this week.
Hinge.
Yeah.
Go start the freaking thing already. Jeez.
First and foremost, shut up. Shut up. This show is just way more bloody. It's from Donnie Darko.
I know, but
I'll cut it out. I'm sorry. The show is way more bloody and gory than I was expecting. I think more than you were expecting.
Way more than... Because, again, I didn't play the games, so I thought this was like a PG-13, going to be kind of like a fun, Guardians of the Galaxy type of vibe. No.
Well, but also, looking at... another recent video game adaptation that was disappointing, Halo. But that's a mature rated game because of blood, and this is so much more intense.
Oh my god. It's brutal. The first episode alone is... it's a little... You know what I was saying to Nicole is, doesn't it give you a TVA vibe? From Loki, when they're in the underground,
a little,
the vault or whatever. I get that vibe from it. But yeah, like when shit goes down, eventually, because it does eventually go down. Uh, they all do. Um,
Keep going. Keep going. Let's not linger on that.
it, it's it's so brutal, dude. It's so brutal. Like the blood, I mean the fork in the eye, the Joker, I think I called
Yeah.
it, like it's crazy how bloody the show is.
The coffee mug or frosted mug esque glass,
Yeah.
just getting ripped into someone's like throat and face, and then seeing that that person hasn't died yet, and seeing the shreds. It was so intense.
It was beautiful. It was beautifully done.
Yeah, and there is a little bit of a preface before the nuclear war, and then the get this fallout. Um, we get to see Walter Goggins, who were reintroduced later as, but he's kind of like a TV celebrity, but down on his luck, trying to provide for his kid, doing like birthday parties and talking about the thumbs up, which even after playing the game, it took me like years to learn what the thumbs up was. You put the thumbs up towards the mushroom cloud, and if it's smaller than your thumb, you're fine. If it's bigger, you should fucking run. Um,
Not that running would do anything, but at that point.
right at that point in time, yeah. Um, but it's crazy. Uh, it it establishes kind of that campy video game esque, especially with some of the dialogue with what would be considered NPCs.
Hmm.
Just people you come across. Even as Lucy, played by Ella Purnell, comes across random people as she leaves the vault, and like the farmer dude that has nothing. He's like, "You can stay here. I'm in really bad health. I'm gonna
I'll
die.
probably die.
I'm gonna die soon, and then you can have all this." He's hitting his water filter, and he's like, "I put a bunch of sand in it to help filter the water." She's like, "Do you have water going through it?" And he's like, "That might help." Like it's just funny. It's funny and brutal,
Brutal.
and I mean, they established the fact that the people that go into the vaults were like the elites, the rich people that could afford it.
Yeah.
And it has a bit of that idiocracy of the dumb people are the ones that keep reproducing, where the rich people are like, oh, we have to be systematic about this. So
Yeah.
when she's on the surface, she comes across a bunch of very dumb people because it's just like a couple hundred years of
Yeah. 200 years, yeah.
yeah.
Couple. That's what that means.
I wasn't gonna be the one to be like,
I caught myself. I caught myself. I caught myself. You actually put your glasses on so you could do that
I
for this
did.
episode. Pretty
Uh,
sure. Those actually don't have lenses. It's
they
just the
they
frame.
do. Don't listen to them.
No, you can see your screen reflecting off them. Obviously, people know that they're real, but uh are they actually like
Yes,
medicated?
they're
No.
prescription. Um,
You got them at like Amazon or something like
don't talk down on Spencer's like that.
that. Spencer's still a thing.
Supposedly,
Nice.
I wouldn't know. I didn't get my glasses there. Who so far? Who is your favorite character in the show?
The Walton Goggins, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Ghoul. He's now known as the Ghoul. Um and oh. So I mean, weeks and weeks ago we talked about this in anticipation for it. And you had thought that he was playing two different people because you were like, it's 200 years apart. How would this even be possible? There's an explanation. Um, Basically, he is being tortured, I guess. Like they bury him alive and keep him alive, and then as a form of torture, dig him up, cut a piece off of him, and then put him back in the ground. Did
Yeah,
I do that right?
with yeah, and they some sort of medicine to like keep him ageless, so
Yeah,
that he doesn't just like die of natural causes or age or
right.
anything like that. But yeah, and I'm sure that they might explain a little bit more that everything that's happened plays a factor in why he's still alive. On
Yeah.
top of that,
So
but
we assume his daughter has got to be dead. Right.
yeah, or
Maybe.
uh, maybe how he became this bandit mercenary.
Because he was such a like a loving person in the opening scene of the first episode. And now
Yeah,
he's just like this brutal cowboy-esque um
yeah,
zombie-ish.
yeah,
Only
but like
without like the brains.
full
Like,
cognitive
yeah,
still, you know.
yeah.
Um, yeah. The only other thing that I can think of, which is something that we haven't seen in the show yet, is like mutated humans from the radiation or from the various corporations that were trying to do it. We kind of got a hint at it with
You see
Doctor
them in the
Wilczek.
trailer though, so we know they're there. We just
Yeah,
haven't seen them yet in the first two
yeah,
episodes. If you're further than us in the show, then maybe you have, but
yeah.
we
I
haven't.
mean, we've seen like mutated cockroaches.
Who's your favorite character?
Oh, it's still the ghoul.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't there to disagree. I just wanted you to interject for a little
I
bit.
I also really like the main Lucy. I knew it. I shouldn't
Yeah,
have even looked up. I knew it. I knew it was Lucy. Fuck. Bad
Lucy
Jake.
McLean. McLean.
Uh I actually really like her character. I think she's a well-written female character. She's super funny and like naive, but she's also like not afraid to like stand up to, there's like, the part in the second episode where they're trying to like take that guy and she stands up to the ghoul and is like, I mean, she's such a dork about it, but she's like
Yeah.
I can't let you harm this person because blah 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 and I'm super blah,
And if
you
you
know.
don't stand down, I think
Yeah.
everyone here can see that that is an act of aggression. He
Yeah.
takes a step
And he
forward and she shoots him with a trank. And he's like, that's a small drop in a huge pool of drugs.
yeah, it's a small drop in a large pool of drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Large.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny. It was great. Yeah. I mean, dude. Episode two was fucking off the hinge crazy. Uh,
Yeah.
wait, say the thing about the dogs, because this is something I didn't know.
This was really cool. So we see at the start of episode two, Dr. Wilzeg, played by Michael Emerson, who just kind of always plays a non-likable character. Um, and also in this, you're like, oh, and he's just very calculated, whatever. But uh, using medicine and science, he's working on the dog companionship, whatever. But what was really cool is, uh, he takes a dog that was supposed to not be pushed forward in the program and then be euthanized. But he takes the dog home, trains it himself, and the dog is very loyal to him. But because it's like a genetically engineered dog, the dog unfortunately gets stabbed by the ghoul, but the ghoul uses a stim stick or like a medicine stick to heal it, and then now the dog is loyal to him, which in some iterations of the game. Again, I've only played parts of Fallout 4 and parts of New Vegas. But like, if a dog attacks you and you like beat the crap out of it, and then you heal it, the dog is now like, "You're my best friend," which was kind of cool that they incorporated that in some way because he was the one that stabbed the dog, but
Yeah.
then he heals the dog, and the dog just like is staying by his side and is like,
Yeah.
"What's up, friend?"
Bet. Um,
Bet.
I want to talk about because so far we've said that we like these characters. I want to talk about a less likable but seemingly main character, a main character, not the main character, obviously. Um, but Aaron Clifton Moten, who plays Maximus. Ugh! I fucking hate this character so far. I'm only 2 episodes in, and I cannot fucking stand this kid, man. Oh, he's the
Okay.
worst. The worst. He's just
Yeah.
even when we were watching, Nicole and I were watching the first episode, and he didn't get chosen for the thing. He's just throwing a fucking temper tantrum.
Yeah, didn't get
I
chosen to be a squire for the Brothers of Steel,
Yeah,
the
and
big
I
mech
audibly,
dudes.
like I said out loud, I was like, maybe that's why you didn't get chosen. Because he just like threw a fucking like toddler temper tantrum.
Yeah, he
I was like,
keeps getting
oh.
in trouble and has to dig the shit trenches,
Yeah,
and then is mad that he wasn't chosen. It's like it's probably a track record as to why.
yeah, he's not great. And then in episode 2, he's even less likable.
Yeah,
Go on.
I mean, he just like does certain things where he thinks that he's doing everything right, and then when he messes up, and then it like bites him in the ass, and then he just kind of like runs away or distances himself because there's a part in the second episode where uh, Maximus, who at this point in time does not have the knight armor, because it's Titus. Uh,
Titan, I think.
okay, um, the brother in steel that he's like squiring for
Yeah.
gets attacked by a mutant bear, and
Man,
he
bear
just
pig.
kind of, yeah, uh, big ass bear, but skin of a pig and calculating, man bear pig. But he just lets the knight die. Which, first off, if we're going back to medieval times, that squire's a piece of shit. Also, if we go back to medieval times, knights and squires are pieces of shit. Um,
He did kill the bear before he let the other guy
yeah, and
die.
then he just like sat back and watched him bleed out, and then was
Yeah.
like, "I'm gonna take your armor, and then
He's like,
I'm gonna get all the glory."
yeah, because he's like, you don't deserve that armor. Like, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, buddy,
Yeah,
you don't deserve that armor.
and the knight was even like, "You think that they're gonna forgive you for this?" And he's like, "If I complete the mission, they will." So he just like sits back and lets the dude bleed out, and then takes the armor, and then doesn't know how to operate it perfectly
Fumbles. He fumbles so hard.
to the point where Walton Goggins, I always say Walter, I'm sorry, Walton Goggins as the ghoul like goes toe to toe with a dude in a mech suit
Yeah.
and gets the best of him, cuts power lines so then Maximus just flies off, crashes. Like, this
He's
is
a
why you
twat.
weren't chosen. This is
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, the Brotherhood of Steel, they're fascists. It's very highly established in the games that they are just not great.
Yeah.
So in that respect, Aaron Moten is just dominating the role of being a douchey
Douche.
character. Yeah. I'm I really am enjoying this show though.
Yeah, and they're like all the reviews are great. Like outside us, obviously, who the fuck are we? Other than the all things fucking nerd podcast.
Hiya.
But but all the reviews are great. And yeah, ours is also great. I love it. I can't wait to watch more. I'm gonna watch more tonight.
Yeah, just because we don't like the characters doesn't mean that we don't like the show. I think that
That's
every
a,
character is so well written. This is a bummer. You froze at a very
how they're
important thing.
supposed to be. I don't think he's supposed to be a likable character. If
Yeah,
he what?
you
What'd you say?
you froze as you were starting to start that last thing, and
Ah, damn it.
I was like no, but then you came back and all the dialogue came through anyway, so it
Ah,
worked out. Um, yeah,
yeah.
they're not supposed to. A lot of these characters are not supposed to be likable. They're just it's good writing.
Yeah. It's fun. Very fun if you like gore and you like kind of like a Western-ish, zombie apocalypse-ish
Yeah, it's
kind of thing.
the Wild West
Yeah, go
with
watch it. It's so fun.
there's a lot of untamed energy in that. But, if you want tamed energy that has 0 calories, 0 sugar, and 0 crash, check out our sponsor, which is Ray's Energy Drinks.
Nice work, dude.
Thank you.
Nice work.
I was proud of that one.
I am proud of that one for you.
Yeah, check them out. If you don't like energy drinks, they do have supplements, protein packed desserts, just so much to choose from, and a good handful of plant based options, which we love over here at the All Things Nerd podcast. Listen up, learn how to save 15%. We'll be right back with you with some trivial nerd suit. What's up, nerds? I wanted to take a minute and talk to you about Raise Energy, an incredible energy drink that provides max energy with 0 crash. Raise Energy takes a giant leap of faith with instilling a high-quality formula to bring a powerful, yet sustained, energetic experience to help you push your workouts and focus to the next level. Perfect for anyone at any time, empowered by their refresh formula technology, Raise Energy delivers a performance-enhancing energy drink that aids in multiple different categories that include targeted focus, better recovery time, improved clean energy levels, and a boost in stamina and hydration. But most importantly, every can of Raise Energy has absolutely 0 calories, 0 sugar, and 0 carbohydrates to give you a smarter and healthier option. So don't settle for an energy drink that contains more sugar and carbohydrates than you can count. Instead, head over to repsports.com. That's REPPSPORTS.com and use the promo code NERDPODCAST at checkout for 15% off your order. Or if you don't know what you want, go ahead and click the link that's in the description to get a $50 sample pack for free. All you do is you cover the cost of shipping. Again, make sure you use promo code NERDPODCAST at checkout to let them know that we sent you. All right, nerds, it is time for Trivial Nerd Suit. This week's question is for Jake and is provided by me. If you'd like to submit a question to try and stump one of us and a chance to win some awesome merch and a gift pack, please reach out to us on our website over at www.allthingsnerdpod.com. Use our contact form. That's the right word. And just mention who the question is for. Jake, are you ready for this?
Ready.
Okay. This period movie features a cast of award-winning actors working to complete and implement a vital tool in the war effort. This movie is based on a real-life story where the main character is praised for their achievement, only later to be ostracized and becomes a social and political pariah. Decades after their role and contributions to the end of the war, they are given the honor they deserve for their work on this secret project. What movie is this?
Whoa. So in the movie, the person is an actor.
Yes.
See, the only thing that's a bummer about this is that I don't have the question on screen to read. So I can't like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, here's the deal. We're on Zoom. I'll send
We
it
are?
in the chat.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Okay. Okay.
I'll read it again while you're reading it. Uh,
Yeah.
for our listeners. So, this period movie features a cast of award winning actors working to complete and implement a vital tool for the war effort. This movie is based on a real life story where the main character is praised for their achievement, only later to be ostracized and becomes a social and political pariah. Decades after their role and contributions to the end of the war, they are then given the honor they deserve for their work on this secret project. What movie is this?
Real life story. Okay. Can I have a couple of guesses?
I will give you, if your
Is
first
it
guess is wrong, I'll give you a second guess before we say you're completely wrong.
is it Argo?
It is not Argo. That's not where I thought you were going to go with this, to be completely honest, while I was writing it up. I tried to make the hint
If it
ambiguous.
wasn't a real life story, I would have said The Hunger Games.
Oh,
But
that would have.
but I'm like, okay, it's real life, so this period movie that's of award-winning actors working to complete and implement a vital tool in the war.
I mean, not to give you too many hints. Um, None of these actors have achieved, like, they haven't won Oscars, but they have won many awards and have been nominated for, like, Emmys, Academy Awards, Oscars, things like that. But they are award-winning actors, and many of the actors have been in billion-dollar franchises.
I think he got me here, dude. I
Talk
have
it,
no clue.
talk,
I have no
talk it
clue.
out.
Huh?
You don't have a second guess?
Were the actor? All right, so the actors of the movie
Like the
were the ones that were given like awards for being activists through this movie.
the people that they portrayed in real life were ostracized. Not the actors themselves, but the characters that they were
Is it
portraying.
Schindler's List?
Oh, I made this harder than I thought it was gonna be. Okay,
You
no,
made this way too
it's
hard.
not Schindler's
This
List.
I have no idea.
The Imitation Game.
Never saw it.
You never saw the Imitation Game with
Never saw it.
Benedict
I know
Cumberbatch?
who's in it.
Yeah,
Benedict Cumberbatch. Yeah.
Kieran.
Never
Okay.
saw it.
When I was writing up the question, I tried to make it ambiguous enough to where I was hoping that your first guess would have been Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer crossed my
Because
mind.
Oppenheimer in real life was ostracized and became a political pariah, and but no, Alan Turnig from the Imitation Game. Uh,
Bummer. Yeah, I never saw it.
well, now I
And
feel bad. I figured that
that's
would have
okay.
been a movie that you would have seen.
That's okay.
Um,
Because doesn't he play a gay person?
and that's why he's ostracized.
Yeah. Okay.
Because
That's what I thought.
up
Yeah, yeah,
until
yeah.
like the 80s or 90s in Britain, that was illegal.
I know of it and I know of the story, but I have not seen the movie,
Ah,
so I didn't know enough about it.
yeah. He basically creates the first computer for our listeners that don't know. Alan Turing basically creates the first computer to decode German intelligence to intercept what they are trying to do during World War II. Wow. Okay. I've I've I'm sorry. I feel good about myself about
Good,
that
you
one.
should. Next week's mine. So
Yeah. We'll see. If you do a horror film, you know I'm not gonna get it.
sucks for you. Better start watching horror movies between now and next week.
We'll see. But if our listeners would like to try and stump us and try and win some awesome prizes of free merch, gift cards, discount codes, and stuff from our sponsors, go to allthingsnerdpod.com and use our contact form to submit your questions. We do have a third party person involved that will field those questions so that whoever you're asking it of does not see it. Let's get into some nerd news.
Oh, sorry. I thought we broke there for some reason. Like between that and this, I don't know why.
We can if you need to.
No, nope. That's just why I was like paused. I was like
Okay.
waiting for you to be like, all right, when we,
Yeah.
whatever. We've only been doing this for like 3 years. Um,
We're constantly changing and adapting because podcast finds a way.
you're an idiot.
I know. I love it.
All right, we are going to talk about some nerd news, and we have a lot of nerd news to get through, so we're kind of going to bullet point this and make our way through it without spending too much time on it because there is a shit ton. But I'll kick it off. Just go shot for shot here. There is a Last Airbender movie with an adult cast coming out. Uh, I think is it animated? I think it's animated though, and
I
it's a
think it
voice
is
cast.
supposed to be animated.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but this includes Dave Bautista, as far as like big names that you would know. If you know more, please fill in
Oh,
my blanks
I
here.
didn't even hear about or really notice who all was involved.
That's okay.
But yeah,
Move on.
it
This is
is
this is huge.
adult Aang
Yeah,
from the last Airbender,
yeah.
which is pretty sweet. We did get confirmation that there is going to be a Transformers and GI Joe crossover. How big of news is that really? I mean, they really heavily leaned into it with the last Transformers movie.
Yeah. I was like, they didn't necessarily lean into it. They flat out said it.
Yeah, but they just said that shared universe where this now it seems like
Yeah.
we're gonna see both uh, the GI Joes and the Transformers all rolling out for this upcoming film.
How do you feel about it?
I mean, cool.
And enjoyable nonsense, basically.
Yeah, it's like another
Yeah.
Fast and the Furious, and we're expecting
No,
like 12
that's
more of
not
those.
enjoyable. That's just
not
nonsense.
not anymore. It's like a
We
fifth
also
John Wick. Let's put it
we
that way.
also we also got another Transformers movie release. It's called Transformers 1. I assume and hope that this is Transformers on their home planet, the destruction of their home planet, and the war between the Decepticons and the Autobots. I think that would be really cool. That would be a Transformers movie that I would be really hyped about, as
Yeah.
the one mentioned before I'm not so hyped about. But yeah,
We also got news that there's going to be a new live action Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles film. Well,
live
yeah,
action.
CGI action. Um, but it's going to follow the story of the last Ronin, which is pretty sweet
And pretty sad because
and
that
very
means that
sad.
all of the other turtles are dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who
Uh,
is the last Ronin?
isn't it Raphael? I thought it was Raphael. He's
Is
the
it?
one with he's got like the chip on his shoulder usually, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's Raph then.
the reason that
I
I
can look it
ask
up.
is because from like the teaser poster, he has Leo's uh,
He has
headband.
everybody's weapons, other that died, all of his
Yeah,
fallen
but
brothers.
the mask, the eye mask.
I'll have a for sure answer for you. Which turtle is the last Ronin? Oh, it's Michelangelo. The last of the surviving
No,
turtles was made by.
no.
That's what Michelangelo was chosen by the writers. Walt stated that the simplest answer was that Mikey was the brother who figured nobody would expect. Oh, that's even sadder.
That is so much more sad.
Yeah.
Because they're also, I don't know if the game's out yet, but they were also making a video game
Yeah.
based on this storyline. I I
Uh,
mean, I'm actually very excited about it. I think it's a cool story
I'm s-
concept. It's sad. Don't get
I
me
hope
wrong.
they show at least how the other brothers die in it and they don't just like open with it being the last Ronin. Like, especially for people who aren't like, we need context there.
I would be okay with them opening with just the last round, but I agree still showing like even as through flashbacks where he grabs one of their weapons because in the poster you see Donatello's staff, you see one
Yeah.
of Leonardo's swords. You know,
Yeah.
the first time he grabs one of those weapons in the movie, if it like flashes back to like
To how? Yeah,
to
that'd be
why
good.
he took it, like I'm fine with that. I, I think this is a cool concept.
This is a really cool concept because we've had so many Ninja Turtle movies since the ones that I we grew up on,
And
like
how
the
many
actual live
and
action
how many
Ninja Turtles.
animated iterations have we
Yeah.
gotten? Yeah,
Um, but we're only like a fifth of the way through this.
yeah,
There's a new Star Trek movie, um, that's coming out. This will be in the same universe as the Chris Pine and Zachary Quinto movies, but this will be decades before any of them are part of Starfleet. Um, it's a bold new way to go. Uh,
I see what you're trying to do. Where no
uh,
one has gone before.
But it's a little annoying because I really wanted a fourth Chris Pine. Maybe out of this, if this has enough hype behind it, we might get that next Chris Pine, Zachary Quinto, Zoe Saldana, cast back. I know that
Yeah,
there was a lot of conflict issues with trying to put the fourth one together about like money and bullshit like that. But there is another one coming out. Same director, J.J. Abrams. So it's the same universe and all that, but it's
yeah.
before any of them are Starfleet. So there's that.
We also at CinemaCon this past week, uh, there was some like teaser footage. We haven't gotten an official trailer or anything like that for Sonic 3. But supposedly there was some test footage and things like that for Sonic 3
Yeah. And
with
apparently Jim
Shadow.
Carrey's Dr. Robotnik is video game accurate now in the trailer that they did release that we haven't seen.
Ooh, so big in a floating
That's what
egg.
that's what they said.
That's sweet.
That
I did
is
not
what
hear
they
that.
said. Um, we're also getting a reboot of not a continuation, but a reboot of the Blair Witch Project
Why?
because you're a pussy. These movies are awesome.
That's not why I'm upset as to why. It's just that the filmmaking phenomenon that really was the Blair Witch, where it sparked ghost hunters and people like
I
that,
think
that it's coming out as a reboot. People now, the gimmick of what the Blair Witch was is
yeah.
gone.
And I think what you need to do with a reboot is not have it in that camera style. Don't shoot it like that. Every continuation or whatever that they've done with that they tried to run with that were unsuccessful was trying to keep that same camera style of that first shot, like whatever. Don't do that. If you're gonna reboot it, if you're gonna reboot it and try to make it its own thing, don't do that. Just make it a Blair Witch movie without the first person camera shots. I think that would be okay. If you try to do
Yeah,
it the way it was originally done, you're gonna fail like every other movie that came out after that tried to do it did.
because the gimmick is
Well,
gone.
yeah,
So
yeah, just reinforcing what you just
if you
said.
just
Yeah,
want
for
to
sure.
make it like a scary movie based on that premise, go for it.
Let's go. Yeah, I
Yeah,
want to. I That's what
that
I want to see.
I I
I
would be
think the
fine with that.
first when I was a kid and the first Blair Witch movie came out, terrifying. Even as an adult rewatching that, the first one was scary. That's a very scary movie. Um, because it was the first of its kind like that, right? But then a million movies came out after the success of that movie that did the same thing and it lost its touch. So now if you're gonna reboot this movie, you got to do it differently. You can't do the same thing.
The only other movie that I can think of that succeeded in that true suspense of what the original Blair Witch did was the original Cloverfield. You know, because it's like
Ooh,
a
I would have said
party camera. You know, like oh yeah,
well,
but then it's like witnessing this insane shit going on.
but that's a monster movie. That's not a scary movie. I
Right.
would say the first and only movie, and it's only the first one to actually do it right, and still be scary was the first Paranormal Activity movie.
I don't have a reference for that one. I did not watch that.
I know you didn't. Um,
Yeah.
Move on.
Yay, church culture. Um,
No, it's not church culture because you don't believe in God anymore, and you still won't watch those movies because you're a big floppy wiener.
you know what? Just because of how funny that was, I'm not.
Limp,
I'm not gonna.
limp dick energy when it comes to horror movies.
LDE, but it doesn't stand for little. Uh, uh, it is though. Um, they're also rebooting the scary movie franchise
Yeah, that one's
again.
a weird one to me.
Kind of like why? Like are the unless the Wayne brothers are coming back, like
Sorry, I did that on not to
yeah,
but I was like, if the Wayne brothers come back, that would be dope. I would watch it, but
yeah.
if they don't, I don't want it.
After I think I stopped after the third one.
Third one was
Watching.
bad.
I think that's probably why I stopped watching it.
Yeah.
The first two, mwah. Take my
Wayne's
strong
brothers.
hand.
Yeah.
You know. Okay, Mister Shits Creek.
Um.
Sorry.
We don't know there hasn't been a ton of we know that Henry Cavill is in the new Highlander movie. All that we know about this is that he is.
There can only be one. Sorry.
I was like, what? Um,
Sorry.
but Henry Cavill posted about it saying that he has begun sword training for this movie, and that if you think he has sword training now through like The Witcher and stuff like that, he said you haven't seen anything yet. Dope.
Fuck yeah.
I used to watch Highlander when I was a kid. It was really dumb, like, you know,
It
back then,
can
but
be, you know,
it was it was like watching Xena Warrior Princess and
or Conan, or
Hercules.
you know, yeah.
Yeah, just a Beastmaster, like those dumb like late
No.
night.
Deep
You know what
cut.
I mean?
Deep cut.
Yeah. But I am stoked about this because I did watch it and I did enjoy it, so I'm excited about that.
Also at CinemaCon, we did get a rebranded title, title, title art for the upcoming MCU Thunderbolts. There's now an asterisk at the end of the name Thunderbolts, and because Captain America Brave New World comes out before that, and we know that again through CinemaCon, which we'll touch on briefly, is that Thaddeus Ross, aka Thunderbolt Ross, wants to rebuild the Avengers now that they've kind of disbanded, gone their own ways. Captain America's gone, but now there's Sam Wilson, Hulk, all these people. He wants to rebuild the Avengers. And there's a rumor going around that the reason that there's that asterisk is that at the end of the movie, just like in Falcon and the Winter Soldier on Disney Plus, at the end of it, they're going to rebrand with a new title. That new title being the Dark Avengers, which makes sense with like U.S. Agent, Thaddeus Ross potentially being a Red Hulk. Just a lot going on there. That's just speculation at this point in time as to what that asterisk means. We won't know.
And then just tied to that, we got our first looks at Sam Wilson and Harrison Ford as Thaddeus Ross for Captain America 4 Brave New World. Not a lot going on there, but we do see Sam. He's suited up with the shield on his back, which is pretty dope. So,
and from that, just from rumors and speculation from people at CinemaCon that probably can't say too much, is that to address the casting change, that they're kind of going Iron Man 2 with it. You know, it's just like a quick line and it's gone. Sam walks in, sees Harrison Ford as Thaddeus Ross, and he's like, "You look different without the mustache." And then he's like, "Yeah, they told me that I need to shave it or else I won't win the election." And then that's it. It's
yeah,
just like
which is good.
one and done.
Even doing that seems a little like you shouldn't even.
It's a
we
little,
know.
it's a little
We already
meta.
know.
Yeah.
Like.
It's just addressing it so that people can't talk about it more, and it's like, oh yeah, he shaved, he looks different.
Yeah. So that's pretty much what we have for the nerd news. We do have some dates for you guys, or for you, friends, fellow nerds. Woof, I fucked that up. And we're just gonna go shot for shot here, and just we're not really gonna talk about what these are, what they mean, because we don't know anything about these. We're just gonna tell you what's coming out and the dates for those movies. I'll start just because we already know about this one. But Deadpool, 7/24.
Yeah, coming out in
Deadpool and
July.
Wolverine. Yeah.
Yeah. After that, Captain America: Brave New World comes out sometime in 2025.
We also got Thunderbolts, 2025.
And then after that, the Fantastic Four, which we've touched on, theories
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
That's also 2025.
Oh yeah, sorry, 2025.
God
my bad.
damn it, Chad. Jesus Christ. We yeah.
Someone has fever tranquilizer.
God damn you, Bernice.
Thank you for knowing where I went with that. Thank you.
We also, for the last one in 2025, we have Blade. 2025. 2025?
Yeah, it's a bummer because we were hoping for that this fall, but they've had their issues. But I'm glad that was not one of the canceled things. Going into 2026, Spider-Man 4, which we kind of touched on some theories and ideas last week.
Yeah.
Still
Oh, sorry. Were you done? My bad. My bad.
That's
Sounded
it.
like you were gonna say something. That was it.
Just super stoked. I love Spider-Man.
Armor Wars 2026.
Yeah. And then rounding out 2026 at this point in time is Shang-Chi 2.
Which we had talked about earlier that they said Shang-Chi 2 was going to lead directly into Avengers 5, which brings us to 2027 Avengers 5, which is no longer titled The Kang Dynasty. As of right now, it is just Avengers 5.
Yeah. Later in 2027, we will get instead of just it was originally titled The Mutants, but now it has
That was the
been,
working title.
yeah, working title, and I'm sure that this is still a working title, but it's
Yeah, I
just
was like,
called
I don't think this is the
X-Men.
official. Yeah.
But now they're branding it as an X-Men film, which
Hmm.
is rad.
Yeah. Following that, we get Doctor Strange 3, also in 2027.
And then rounding out 2027, Thor 5.
Woo.
There's some working titles, War of the Gods. Who knows how long that's going to stick. But we are getting another Thor. Um, hopefully not full Taika. Um,
It, I think it's no Taika now. Um, and
one can
then
hope.
in 2028, we get Avengers Secret Wars Part 1 and 2. No other movies announced for 2028, and I think that makes sense because those movies will be tied together. There's not really room in between them to like do anything.
Yeah.
But we get Part 1 and 2 in 2028, and that is insane.
And I'm sure that we'll get some shows in between. I hope as much as I
But they'll
would.
probably be like off the timeline. They won't be like in the timeline of like what's happened. Much like a lot of the shows that have been out, they're like before or after, but they're
Yeah.
not like during. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fine with all that.
Yeah.
Another thing that came out this past week, which we did talk about on our TikTok, if you'd like to follow that, it's pretty sweet. Is Joker, the Joker, fully adieu, folly adieu,
Oh, the
fully adieu. But we got a trailer for it. Um,
thoughts.
we, I mean, I'm excited for it. I feel like the fact that it's going to be reimagining of like pop hits to make it a musical just feels like Rock of Ages or um, a, a mixed playlist of Across the Universe. Um,
That's a good movie
I
though.
love that movie. I actually really love that movie. But they branded it that it's going to be a musical, but then it's like, we're not going to do original songs. We're just going to like
Yeah.
reimagine things.
I was also worried that when they said it was going to be a musical, that it was going to be like them singing the songs. And I'm not getting that vibe. I think it's going to be more like uh incorporating those songs into like big moments in the movie. So I don't think it's going to be like a full-on musical where like they're going to break into like song and dance and sing to each other and like you know what I mean? I think it's going to be like kind of like in the first movie at the end where like the stair scene and like the end where like he's imagining himself as the Joker and he like puts a smile on, but that never actually happened. But there was like music playing and like riots going on in the background. I think it's going to be more like that, but more of that.
Yeah, and that makes so much sense because the phrase "folie à deux" means like loose translation of like crazy together.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
so like it's shared psychosis,
Yeah.
um,
I would,
which could
I
be
would,
really
yeah,
fun.
sorry. I would say the only like shit thing, not even a shit thing, it's just an annoyance for both of us,
Yeah, as
uh,
fans.
would be that in the original like storytelling of Joker and Harley is that she is his therapist. That slowly over time, because he's so crazy but also like really smart,
And
uh,
charming.
ma makes her fall in love with him, and then she turns crazy.
Hmm.
In this, when they first meet, she's a patient in Arkham already. She's not a doctor. Uh, which they may try to be like, oh, she used to be a doctor here, turned patient, but like that's not how it originally went, and
Yeah,
that's kind of annoying. But other than that,
it's a
it looks great.
qualm, if you will.
Yeah.
Uh, And then the next one. That's you.
uh,
As you're
I
holding
feel
in
like
a
I
burp. I'm
steamroll.
sorry.
I just felt like I steamrolled that one, so I
Well,
was gonna. But
you're a much bigger DC fan than I am, but
um,
you also shared this
Downey
with me. So
RDJ, the Godfather of Marvel, has officially said that he would be willing to return as Iron Man, um, on certain conditions for sure. But he said he would do it. And we know that Hugh Jackman has said that he would return for Secret Wars, but only on conditions that Robert Downey Jr. and Tobey Maguire return for it as well. Because just a little bit of dumb knowledge here is that Wolverine, Hugh Jackman was supposed to cameo in Spider-Man 2 with Tobey Maguire, but they couldn't get the rights figured out in time, so he didn't. So it would be
and
really
in
cool
a
to like
deleted
finally get all that.
post credit scene from Iron Man 1 with Sam Jackson as Nick Fury talks about the mutants and hints at Wolverine.
Yeah.
Um, Obviously not canon because they didn't have the rights to it. So
Yeah. So if we get the three biggest OGs together
mwah.
on screen,
Yeah,
fuck, dude, that'd be awesome.
hell yeah, it's like getting banana bread at work.
Banana Head.
Hell yeah. I'm just kidding. And then this isn't really nerd news, but it's something that we haven't been spending a lot of time on. Is X-Men '97? I mean, this show just continues the love of the original
Chad cried.
animated series. I did cry. If you watch, there's a couple of moments throughout episode 5 of X-Men '97 that tug at emotional heartstrings. And if you don't feel anything, what's up, Ted Bundy? Um, yeah, I mean, I didn't cry. I teared up. I wiped it away, and I was like, oh fuck, um, it's so good.
I think the biggest takeaway of this episode, this is like Chad said, episode 5, is it's a blink and you miss it kind of thing. But there is a scene when fireworks are going off. If you haven't watched it yet, first of all, spoiler alert. And second of all, watch out for this moment. When the fireworks are going off, you can see it's like right before the big fight showdown goes down. The Watcher from What If is in the stars watching this happen.
Yeah,
It makes this show canon to the MCU.
one hundred
And
percent.
and you know that in the opening credits say Kevin Feige.
Yeah,
He's one of the producers. So this makes it all canon and it's fucking dope. This is dope. This is really big news because this is like a show from like our childhood that is now becoming canon to the movies and TV shows that we've been watching for the past since 2008, the first Iron Man movie. And now this cartoon from my Saturday morning cartoon from being a little kid is now
yeah.
canon to this. That's
From
huge.
fucking kindergarten, for
Yeah.
us. And Jake has a family, and I have a dog. It's cool. Uh, but yeah, I mean, the show is, especially this episode, is explosive. It's emotional. You gotta love it.
You do. I don't have a quippy thing. I fucking pondered on it for a while and I was like, I don't really have anything to go on.
Do I
But
win this
that
episode? I win this episode.
you win this episode. Yeah.
Huzzah!
Um,
Write
but
it down.
now that the nerd news is done, we are going to talk about our second sponsor, which is Crybaby Craig's hot sauce. It's a pickled habanero and garlic hot sauce that goes on practically anything. Please listen up and we'll tell you more about it.
Hey, you nerds. Do you love spice? Supporting small businesses? What about enhancing the flavor of your favorite foods? If you said yes to any of those, our good friends over at Crybaby Craig's have the perfect solution for you. Crybaby Craig's is a pickled habanero and garlic hot sauce that goes perfectly with your favorite foods, adding the perfect amount of spice and enhancing the flavor of everything it touches. Started in Minneapolis by Craig back in 2012, Crybaby Craig's has become a Minneapolis and Minnesota staple in the sauce world. So head over to crybabycraigs.com and order yours today.
Okay, friends, we are going to talk about a movie that we went and saw this past week, and it is called Monkey Man. Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it, please go watch it. It's so fucking good. And that's enough time. Get out of here if you haven't seen it. Come back though.
Please.
This is
Sorry.
Dev Patel's directorial debut, also starring and partial producer on this movie. Um, Fucking hell, man.
Yeah.
I think I knew it was going to be good. I did know it was going to be good just because the hype around it, the trailer. I love Dev Patel, not because I'm Indian. You're racists. Uh, um,
Can't
but
come.
I knew it was going to be a really good movie. But it exceeded my expectations by a lot.
And also getting like Jordan Peele to be like, yeah, I'll produce. I didn't write, I'm not directing, but I'll produce this.
Yeah,
That dude puts out gold. For him
yeah.
to be like, yeah, I'll just fund this, you you have to assume that it's going to be good.
Some of the craziness about this, like just to put into perspective of like what like they put into this movie, particularly Dev Patel, is that one, Dev Patel broke his hand during while in filming of this movie. He posted or he was on a talk show. I forget who was it. It was somebody, maybe Kimmel, but whatever. Uh, he broke his hand so bad that they had to put a screw in his hand, and he showed the X-ray on TV, and the
Jesus.
doctors were like, "You can't put any pressure on this hand," and he's like, "I have so much money riding on this, I can't not show up and do this." So for a lot of like halfway through that movie, he had a broken hand and had to just fucking tough it out with a screw in his hand. Um,
That's
the
insane.
the budget for the movie was so low, and I don't even know why they even told anybody this because you can't fucking tell, but the budget was so low that parts of that movie were shot with GoPros and iPhones.
That sounds like an ad for GoPro and iPhone. Because again, you would have never known. That's
That's just what I saw from from the talk show. I don't remember who
yeah.
the host was, but who gives a shit?
Yeah.
The fucking movie is insanely good. I mean, I steamrolled. Sorry.
No, you're totally fine. I can see how from the original trailer, some people might be like, "Oh, it's like John Wick." You watch it, and if you still think that, I pardon my French here, but you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah, you're
Like
a bit of a twat.
you can't walk away from this movie and be like, "Oh, it's an Indian John." Like no, like the dialogue in this movie is incredible. The action is immaculate, and just the overall story.
Yeah. That's
It's
it. That's
so
we're not
good.
knocking John Wick by any means. We love the John
Yeah,
Wick
I
franchise.
love the John Wick franchise, but
Yeah.
you go into a John Wick film and you know what to expect.
Yeah.
If you go into this movie after watching the trailer and you're like, "This is gonna be John Wick," it's not. And if you walk
So far
out
from it.
being like, "That was John Wick," you're dumb.
Yeah. You're you're dumb.
Like, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Like this, it's such a well written, action packed, both fast paced, but also takes time to develop a story. What a fantastic action movie
And like
that has substance.
crazy smart too. Like there
Yeah.
were like such like small details in the movie that you were like not you in particular, but like me, as the viewer,
Yeah.
you're like, yeah, okay, whatever. And then, later on, you're like, I literally was like, whack, that's why he did that. I'm like leaning over to you and
Yeah.
being like, oh my God, he's totally doing this. You know, uh, for instance, the dog thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I had no idea that that was like part of his plan.
I thought it was
And
just
then
showing
when,
him as like a human, like
yeah, I thought he was just like being like, oh, it's a cute
a
little
good
puppy, blah, blah,
person. Like,
blah.
yeah.
But he is training the dog to like help him assassinate people. And I was
Yes.
like,
Smuggle a gun.
yeah, I
Yeah.
was like, holy, I was like, what? I think I literally was like, oh my God. I was like, he was totally training the dog to get his gun in there. And you're like, oh.
Yeah. I was like, first off, why did you hit me? And then you said that, and I was like, oh.
It's such a smart, I mean, like you said, it's just a well-written fucking, it sets itself apart from your typical action film because you don't have that what do we always say formula. You don't always have
Yeah.
that, in a lot of action films you have that formula, especially in a revenge uh setting, which this
Yeah.
is a revenge movie. Let's be clear about that right away. So you get that, but they set it up so well and it's so well written and oh my God, it was just so good. And I don't want to like spoil it for anybody who, is still listening that hasn't seen it, but we did warn you. But oh my God, it's so good. I enjoyed it so much. And I thought maybe like I'm a little biased because I'm Indian and I'm like I've been on like Dev Patel's side since like, Slumdog Millionaire. I saw it.
The Green Knight.
Uh
Yeah.
and yeah, and so I was like, oh, maybe this is just pulling at my strings a little bit more than the average person. But after talking to you when the movie
Oh.
was over, I was like, fuck yeah, dude. That was good. I'm not crazy. That was a good ass movie.
It was so good. And taking like the, even though it takes time to build the backstory, they do it through various flashbacks through certain circumstances, which
Mm.
one didn't feel like you're just like sitting through an origin story for like the first third or half of the movie, because when it starts out, you see him, Dev Patel's character, and he's like kind of like a cage fighter. He's just kind of like building up his strength, whatever. Um, and he like already has a lot of connections through background networks of street level thugs, or you know children that are helping be pickpockets, whatever it might be. And they don't spend a ton of time explaining like how he built those connections, because what does that do to the story? Like they just show little things that he has these connections to without spending 15-20 minutes to describe how they're just happening. But they
I
still
imagine
they
he
still
just
push
grew up
yeah, but they still push
that
the
way.
the story forward without feeling like you're losing anything,
Hmm.
without having to learn how he developed those connections. It, like you said, it's very smart storytelling, and some background stuff might be skipped over, but it doesn't take away from the movie or the story.
Yeah. I feel like they loosely explain without like you said, like spending the time to explain. But I imagine because he was alone,
Mm-hmm.
spoiler alert, his mom is dead, as he was a little kid when it happened. And I imagine he grew up in that life. He was one of those kids
Mm-hmm.
that was a pickpocket and like running those like scams. And that's why he still knows how to run that shit. Because he
Yeah.
he was that's he grew up in that life. Also why he knows like the guy who was running the cage fighting thing. Like they were working together. It wasn't just like, hey, pay me for this fight. He was taking dives for this guy in these fights so that this guy could make money. You know,
And then by taking the dives, he makes extra money because of it. Because
yeah,
then there's a larger cut for, you know,
yeah.
exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
So they don't explain, but they like allude to he grew up
that's a
in that life.
that's
Yeah.
a great way to explain it. Like they like hint.
Yeah.
It's subtext. you know, this movie is so well written. The action is incredible. And what's really cool is for how brutal it is, and for the people that might look at it and be like, "Oh, it's kind of like John Wick." The amount of guns in this are near zero. You
A lot
know,
of knives though.
a lot of knives, a lot of hand to hand combat,
Yeah.
um, which was cool too because it's not based in I don't know America where you can trip, sneeze, cough, and fart once, and then you have a gun in your hand at Walmart. You know, like it makes sense, but they still allow for high action without just needing lots of guns and lots of explosions.
I think that's
It's
kind of the fun of it too, that it like separates itself from like John Wick. Like John Wick has like a unrealistic aspect to it where like they have
yeah,
the suit, the bulletproof suit that can't be penetrated by a knife or bullets and blah blah blah. So a lot of times when John Wick is like running or fighting, he's using his suit to like block gunshots and knives. That's not a thing in this. If someone swings a knife at you and he puts his arm up, he gets cut. You know, like so the evasion of, and like you said, it's a lot of hand to hand and a lot of knives and stuff like that. It's a lot trickier for his character to avoid being stabbed or cut and stuff like that. And I think it sets itself apart from if you say that this is the Indian John Wick, I'll punch you in your nose,
yeah.
like
So
John Wick.
as the Indian, no, I'm just kidding, because that's so not this. But even you use the word evasion. Like
Mhm.
there's moments where he's actually hiding. He's not just like using his
Yeah,
suit, his smoking jacket,
yeah,
to run across a room and not get shot. Like there are moments where multiple characters are literally hiding from gunfire
hmm
and all sorts of destruction to avoid getting hit. It
hmm
it paints a much more. I think it adds to the suspense that there's real danger instead of just being like
I
can't
got a bulletproof, you know,
you
coat on.
you can't get me. I
Yeah.
won the green jacket at the Masters. Uh, I only say that because the Masters is going on right now for golf. But that's I 100% agree that element of
Real.
evasion because it
I was
does
gonna say it's like more realism to
yeah
it.
and realism yeah um it definitely plays a huge role in this, and I think it adds to the enjoyment because he does get hurt, he does
Oh,
get
he gets
stabbed.
fucked up.
Yeah,
Yeah. Every fight he gets in, he gets fucked up. Oh, other than the one cage fight at the end, he doesn't get fucked up. That was dope.
that was
That was
dope
probably
too.
that might have been my favorite part of the movie. Is like he's been taking dives for this fucking douchebag, the whole movie in these cage fights, and then when he finally is like, okay, I need to like be big man on campus and like bets
he
on
he
himself. He
has to
makes
be
that
the
little kid put
one
his
that creates the yeah.
Yeah, he has the little kid put the bet on him to win. And there's like the dude that he is the big dude that the snake, the what was it,
Well,
the
there's
venom or
there's
whatever.
King Cobra,
King Cobra,
which
that
he
was the one.
knocks out in one hit, and then
Oh,
they
wait, one kick. He
yeah
literally just that was like the
yeah
big dude that he's like the main attraction at these fights, and he's been taking these dives for this guy, and when they finally put him up against him at the end, he just fucking what?
yeah.
Like one kick to the head and the dude's just done.
And then they
It was
have
awesome.
like an Andre the Giant esque person
Oh yeah, that was cool too.
that he's hitting him, he's not reacting. Yeah, it. I mean, this entire movie is so well thought out and takes a lot of kind of like spiritual influence
Oh yeah.
of like Hinduism.
Hmm.
Uh, you know,
Monkey Man,
yeah,
Sunaman,
Hanuman.
Hanuman, Sumo Man,
Who's Indian now? I'm just
Hanuman.
kidding.
I'm not Hindu. I
Yeah,
never grew
no,
up Hindu.
I
Some
know.
of my family is, but
I
I'm not.
I'm teasing. I'm sorry. That was not a good thing to tease you about.
He's racist. Notice how
I
he shaved his head.
Hey, it's
Give
growing.
give us
It's
one
growing
Zig
back.
Heil. Give us one Zig Heil. See? Feels good, doesn't
No.
it? You can cut all that. Sorry.
Yeah, I might. But now that we made a joke out of it, I'm not going to because you said that. Uh, no, this movie is absolutely incredible. I'm excited. I don't think that there's going to be a sequel. I feel like it might be a bit of a cop out if there is.
Yeah.
It,
I don't, yeah.
but I want to see more from Dev Patel in a director's role because the
Yeah.
storytelling was incredible.
Mhm.
The writing was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I I mean, do you have to star in all of them? No, but I would like to see more directorial stuff from him. I would like to
Oh,
see more on-screen stuff for him as well.
yeah.
I think this was a good like coming out party for him to be like the director, partial producer, and main star of this movie. I think if the doors don't open for Dev Patel at this point, I'm gonna be pissed.
Yeah. It proves that he can be in pretty much any role for movie making in high quality, great moments.
Sorry, my son is screaming at the top of his lungs. I could just hear it.
Uh, do you have any final things that you want to say about
Mm,
this movie other than go watch it? Because that's all I have. Go
I want
watch
to
it.
watch it. I want to watch it again.
Yeah, I
Really bad. I can't wait for it to come out.
I might have to just like pay to go see it again.
Let, let me know if you do, because I'll probably go with you. Or the hiccups, so fucking go to the thing.
Bet. Okay. Yeah. Uh, so, hiccups aside, we're gonna go ahead and close out this episode.
But before we do, we are going to talk about our honorable mentions. Chad, what do you have?
Well, I've been still watching slowly, an episode every couple of days. Watching Bodies on Netflix. Can't can't lie. I've lost some interest with the big twist
You
for
were
the
like
show.
hyping it up when you first
I
started watching it.
know, and then it turned into kind of lazy writing, um, which is a bummer because like the actors involved are all very good. Just the plot took a turn for the cliche.
Uh,
And then I rewatched Into the Wild this past week.
Emil Hirsch,
Yeah,
great movie.
such a great movie.
Yeah,
Um, sad real life
sad,
story, but
sad.
um, yeah,
He
great
like
great
he like
film.
snapped though. There was like I read about because when I saw that movie, uh, I read about it because he just like snapped. It wasn't like a casual like I'm gonna go on like a camping trip or something. Like he like lost it and was like I'm gonna just fucking fuck off and going into the wild and just live there. Right?
Yeah,
I'm not
and
tripping, right? Yeah.
and a lot of it was just ego.
Yeah.
Everyone being like, "Oh, you can't do this." He's like, "Bet." And then, spoiler alert: he dies. I mean,
Well,
it's a real story, and there's a documentary about it as well.
yeah.
Um,
But he didn't like I think the ending of it is like a speculated death, right? So he did die, but they speculated on how he
yeah,
died.
whether it was he ate something that he shouldn't have that poisoned
Yeah.
him, or if he just starved to death.
Because the bus that he was living in, or whatever it was, van or whatever the fuck it was, he left a note in the van before his body was found saying that I will be back if you see this, like please stay or something like that.
Yeah.
And he never came back. And then they found his body later. So he hadn't,
Very, very close to it though, but
yeah, yeah.
to so much to the point where once the movie and the kind of biography came out, so many people tried to find the bus, and so many people died trying to find the bus
No
that
way. Really? I didn't know that.
The Alaskan government uh, found the bus and then removed it and made
Smart.
a huge public display of removing the bus from the wild, so people would stop trying to find it and trying to live out of it, to do everything that this guy
God,
couldn't.
people are smart.
Yeah, so smart. Sad note. What are your honorable mentions?
It's a really good movie. Before I
Oh,
get into mine,
yeah,
it is a great. I
it's
love Emil Hirsch, and yeah, fantastic,
it's a
fantastic movie.
great movie.
It's been a very long time since I've seen it, so I was just trying to like, are my facts right on this? But okay.
Yeah,
Um, I only have two. We watched Dune Part Two again. Thanks to you, putting it
so,
on your very legal
yeah, so legal. Uh,
site.
mm, Good thing this gets
Uh,
published
and you know, it was as good as it was, you know. I enjoyed it
as it was written.
a little less maybe than the first time we watched it.
What? It's not Al Gaib.
I love Timothy Chalamet, but I realized the second time around that Paul Atreides is a whiny, entitled little bitch.
Yeah,
I mean, boy can fight, good for him, but he's an entitled little shit. Uh, anyways.
but good for Timothy Chalamet for like encapsulating on that.
Not it, yeah, not Timothy, but Timothée. But fucking Paul Atreides is an entitled little bitch. Um, and the other thing that I've been watching, I only watched like an episode and a half so far, but I'm really enjoying it. Is it's called Sugar. It's on Apple TV. It's Colin Farrell's new show.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, very like no noir. Did I say
Mm-hmm.
it right? You corrected me last time I
Yeah,
said
you got it right this time.
it.
Huzzah!
Uh, Parts of it are in black and white, parts of it are not. But it's I mean, I really, really like it. I also am just such a fan of Colin Farrell, so maybe I'm a little biased about it, but I'm really enjoying it. I can't wait to watch more. I probably watch an episode of that and an episode of Fallout tonight because I don't want to drop either show for the other one. So I gotta,
Right.
yeah.
I
Uh, but yeah, it's
it's
really, really good. I really, really encourage people to watch it.
yeah,
I watched the first episode and I was hooked. So
yeah, it's you've talked about it for 2 weeks now. So normally normally I let you say the hey buddy. Normally you'll if you recommend something once, I'm like, okay, maybe. And then when you do it a second time and it's something that I'm like already on a maybe about, I'm like, okay, this is no longer maybe. I have to watch this.
it's fun.
Well, for all of our listeners that like the show, if you want to support us, like I don't know, give us your money. That sounds right, right? Right, Jake?
The
Yeah.
Mooney.
The show us the Mooney. Um, not gonna. Never mind.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
uh, the best way to do that is to go to www.buymeacoffee.com/allthingsnerd. Let us know, because we do have a second podcast that's tied to that. So let us know that it's this podcast that sent you there, so that you get member exclusive merch. If you don't want to give us your money on a monthly basis, I mean, we get it, but it's lame. Then just go to www.allthingsnerdpod.com. Check out our merch store. Pick something up for yourself.
Maybe
Fantastic.
just check out the website in general because it's a fucking dope website.
Yeah. Along those lines, if you have any needs for digital marketing, sales strategies, anything like that, check out Marty over at Digicat Tech. He's who's been helping us revamp our website. He's been a huge player for us in doing better. Not just doing better, but doing good. Doing It's because of him. Um, Again, if you like D&D, check out the Kobolds in the Basement podcast. That's our other podcast that we have. You find it wherever you get your podcasts. Most importantly, though, like, share, subscribe. We love you all. We'd still be doing this, but we just wouldn't record it if it wasn't for you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being a listener, and this has been the All Things Nerd podcast.